Moses is one of those folks who talks about busy weekends, but you might have to ask him what kind. One weekend, you might catch him as a master of ceremonies for street dance and hip-hop events all over the country. And on another, he may be behind a set of turntables or rapping himself breathless about anything from sci-fi to the doldrums of the rat race. You may even see his full government name with a fancy acronym's title on a round table or academic panel. And he may in fact have been the person who fixed your computer, bemoaning the fact that these damn screws just keep getting smaller and smaller still. But to see him in his true moment of zen, you'll probably want to catch him in front of a dig dug machine with an old-fashioned nearby. Moses, who do you think you are?
Before this timer starts, I just want to say something. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Thanks for coming. Who in the fuck do you think you are? Nigger. When you're in Scholastic Bowl, you don't expect to hear such things from people. But Mount Carmel, in all of its storied football history, decided to throw a bone to us frail, weak, nearsighted nerds because they figured they had to hand out another varsity letter for something. So I was the first wave of varsity Scholastic Bowl at Mount Carmel High School on the south side of the city of Chicago. And my enemy was the Fenwick fucking Friars. Who in the fuck do you think you are, nigga? Asked to me by some blonde kid with a pompadour that must have been 3 inches too high, leaning in from somewhere inside his emblazoned sweater vest that he paid too much for, or his parents paid too much for, right as Mount Carmel and Fenwick were at a tie at Northbrook High School, 165 to 165. You're supposed to shake hands at the overtime, and when I leaned in to shake his hand and say, "Let's have a good match," I got the reply, "Who the fuck do you think you are, nigga?" I was flabbergasted. My dad and my grandfather were there, so my temper went from 11 to 0.5. I had to get quiet quick because we had to get these questions right, and it seemed like the proctor could barely get a question out before I had an answer for it. And when you're a nerd and you've been bullied for a very long time, every time you're able to get over on your bullies, you burn it into your brain and you fall asleep to it every night. The 3 questions with their answers were nitric acid, the Battle of Waterloo, and 1885. And when I answered all 3 of those correct, and the Scholastic Bowl rules for the IHSA in 2001 kicked in that stated if a team has answered 3 correctly in an overtime, they are the winner. When I answered all 3 of those correctly and the captain just looked at me and smiled, when we shook hands at the end of that match, I leaned in and I said, "That's who the fuck I am."
Yeah.